Hey guys, I am so sorry if you were trying to find this link. I don't even know what happened. I had a problem with creating the link. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And if you want to listen to the playback, that's fine. So with any webinar or any event that you attend, you should definitely turn your phone off. And that's what I was doing right now. Definitely turn your phone off. And the reason is you came here to receive information. You came here to listen and learn. And when you're distracted by other things going on, your phone, you're just not totally present. So become present, shut your phone down. If you have children, I totally understand, and there's nothing you can do with that. You just hope that you can put on a movie and they'll watch it. So right here and right now for what you came to learn. So this webinar is about 5 core belief systems that we tend to hold. You may have one, you may have all 5. I've had all 5 throughout my life in different time periods of my life. And uncovering these belief systems helps you to remove those blocks and move forward. So I'm just going to go through what the 5 blocks are and how they might be affecting your life. So for those of you that do not know, my name is Stacy Dykes. I am a transformational life coach. I work with mindset. I help women and some men. I primarily work with women, but I help people to go within and find what belief systems are preventing us from moving forward. And for those people that have not worked with mindset, it may feel like that's not like a big deal, but mindset is everything. I work with clients who find mindsets that they don't believe that they're worthy, and by holding the unworthiness, they are preventing themselves from receiving more income or keeping a good relationship. It's that powerful. So I have always been, and I'm sorry, I'll keep looking down because I can't remember shit and I have to write everything down. I have always been spiritual, and I've always been open, and I've always seen like the world around me in a way that most people don't see it. I connect everything to my inner self. So I came to this place where I started to realize that what I thought and what the actions that I was taking was, and the belief systems that I was holding, was creating things in my life. And when I started to see the pattern and I became aware of the law of attraction, it started to really open up my eyes about how we create in our life. And then, so I went through the whole law of attraction journey and I manifested some really, really cool things. But I was always stuck. I was always like wanting to manifest more money and, it wasn't coming. Or I was stuck in my relationship with my husband for a very long time and couldn't move forward into a better relationship. And when I started to really look at what I was afraid of, when I was willing to go into the fear, when I started to look at my belief systems, things started to shift in my life. I started to get clear. Things started to open up. Opportunities started to come. As I was shifting these mindsets and as I was clearing these old fears out, opportunities were like literally coming into my life, just like falling into my life. So I started to see that there was a correlation between releasing your fear, letting go of old belief systems, and allowing new things to come into your life, things that you've been wanting. So as I've been doing this belief work, I really see how valuable it is for people and how valuable it is for us as we move forward in helping you to create the life that you want. It is, obviously, it's equally as, what's the word? I receive from it when someone, one of my clients, like transform a belief, and then something manifests in their life. It is just so rewarding. That's the word I was looking for. It is so rewarding because I see that they are changing and that they're understanding their power. They're understanding that when I was afraid of this, I was blocking myself, but when I let go of that belief and that fear, this came into my life. So as they move through their life, they have these tools and techniques to help them along their journey. So I am excited for this process. I'm excited as I'm working and helping people understand and uncover their belief systems. So as I am talking about these belief systems, what I want you to be aware of is what we in the coaching world and I'm sorry guys, my brain is like sizzled. Okay, we'll just say coaching world. There is a word called trigger, and a trigger is when you feel an emotion or you have a response in your body. It's a negative response. So be aware, like you might feel something contract in your belly, like your belly tightens up, or your heart tightens up, your chest tightens up, or your throat can contract. Be aware if you start clearing, start feeling anxious, if you start feeling any kind of pressure around your head, it's your body's indication. It's letting you know that there's something there for you to look at. If you have a feeling, an emotional response, I say one of these belief systems and you feel an emotional response, like you get mad or you feel fear, or if you have a negative emotional response, it's another indicator. It's like a guidepost pointing, hey, look at that, like there's something there for you to see. What those indicators are is telling you that in that belief section, you have something that's out of alignment. So you are holding a negative belief that is not serving you. So just become aware as we're going through them. I didn't say this in the beginning, but I hope you have a pen and paper. I'll just wait just a second. Put my time on. I'll wait, and if you want to go grab a pen and paper, so you can write these down if you feel that one or two or three of these call to you to look at. So they are in no particular order, and there is more than 5. I just picked the top 5 that I have personally experienced and that I know that other people experience, and these are biggies. Number 1 is I'm not supported. So holding the belief that I'm not supported, you look at the world through a state of lack. You do not feel like you have the resources to create the things that you want to create or do the things that you want to do. You have a belief that says you have to do it all yourself, that nobody's here to help you. When you are holding the belief that you are not supported, you are disconnected from your inner source, your inner guidance. You believe that you have to know how something will come about. You have to know all the steps. Like, I need to know how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen and where it's going to happen, because you are acting as that higher perception. You are acting like you are taking the responsibility of the higher self. So our minds, our physical minds, not capable of knowing how something is going to happen. It only knows how something happened in the past. It doesn't know how something is going to happen in the future. We do not know how something is going to unfold. So when we decide that we want something, or we want to create something, or we want to experience something, as we start to set out on that, when we start to believe that we are not supported in that, that is when we are detached from our inner guidance and we're saying that we have to do it all by ourselves. We have no support. No one's here to help us. We don't know the way. We don't know how to figure it out. But it's a false belief because we are connected to a divine presence, a presence that is guiding us throughout our lives. And when we decide that we want to create something, that divine presence guides us to that. It helps us to receive the things that we need to create it. It unfolds the steps for us. There are billions of people on the planet that are here to support us, that are here to help us, that are here, and they have tools and they have techniques to help us. But when we're in this state of, I'm not supported, I don't know how it's going to happen, I don't know how it's going to unfold, we completely pull ourselves apart from that guidance. So how do you get into that state of guidance? So this is an overview. We are not going to work on shifting any of the beliefs. This is just an awareness for you today. I would need to work with you one-to-one to actually really get in and figure out where the core belief system is. But sometimes just knowing that you have a belief is awareness enough to start transforming it. So going within and trusting that there is a guiding light within you, a higher self that is here to support you fully, that is here for you. And I know what you're saying. I have not been supported in my life, or I'm not being supported right now, so I don't believe that. The reason why is you have this belief and your outer circumstances are showing you the belief that you're having. So once you start to shift the belief, once you just even say, I'm willing to be open to support. That is huge. I'm willing to be open to receiving support. When you do that, the universe is going to start bringing little things to you to show you that you're supported, to start to build your trust, to start to help you shift that belief. And then when you start to shift, and when you start to say, okay, I see that I'm being supported here, I see that there's a possibility, as you're starting to shift your belief, then the outer circumstances start to change. Then you start to see it reflected on the outside. So within, the inner belief has to change first, and then the outer circumstances will change. You have to change within first, and then the outer circumstances have to change. Number 2, I have no power to change. I have no power to change. This belief a lot of times is attached to, hey guys, I didn't even look down and see who's all here. Let me see if I can set my Q&A up. Okay, there you go. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them over here for me. The belief that I do not have the power to change a lot of times is attached to a religious upbringing. It's attached to a deep cultural upbringing. In this belief, we are waiting to be saved. We feel like we don't have the power or control over our life. We are waiting to be told what to do. This was a huge one for me. It was like I was just stuck and I was just waiting. Even though I knew I wanted something different, I didn't believe that I could change. I didn't believe that I actually was allowed to create something in my life. And when I finally started to shed this old belief, it was like amazing. Wow, you mean I have the power to change? So, this belief keeps you in a constant state of waiting. You are constantly waiting for the direction. You're constantly waiting for the inspiration. You're constantly waiting to be told what to do. You're constantly waiting for the map, if you will. And it help hold you back from actually stepping forward and saying, oh, you know what, I do have the power to decide, and this is what I want to receive, and this is what I want to experience. And when you do, the universe falls right into alignment and supports you and says, yes, yes, you are allowed to have that. You are allowed to be abundant. You are allowed to have these things in your life. You're allowed to be loved. You're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to create. So this belief also comes along with believing that you have to follow like a certain plan. Like there's a certain plan in your life and you must follow it. What if you're co-creating the plan? What if that is an option? So just sit with that. Religious beliefs are something that need to be worked on one-on-one. I do not change people's religious beliefs. I definitely show that there are blocks around religious beliefs that stop and prevent people. They feel scared to like step out of that old belief system that says, I have no power to change my life. But you do. You certainly have power because you are here to be happy. Number 3 is I'm not abundant. And I know a lot of people experience this feeling of not feeling abundant. If you know, you can look at the planet and say there are people in poverty, but you can also look at the planet and know that in our world, in our United States alone, we have so much food that we throw it away, which is totally another topic, but we have that much food. We are that abundant. We have come that far in our evolution as in humanity that we have so much food, we throw it away. So to even believe that you're not abundant is false beliefhood. We are filled with people around us, surrounding us. Like I said, there's billions of people on the planet. So it always is interesting when someone says they're alone. It's just a state of feeling that they've created within themselves. They've isolated themselves. There are people always around you, always around you. Like, I mean, unless you live in a remote area, but for the majority of the people, we are surrounded. So when you are holding this belief, I'm not abundant, you're on the vibration of lack. I don't have enough money. I don't have the things that I need. And when you keep looking for these things and you're in a state of lack, it's going to keep showing up in your life. You are going to keep seeing lack. You're going to keep being behind in bills. It's like the perpetuating circle. When you're in the state of not being abundant, when you believe you're not abundant, you are also disconnected from the flow, from that divine source within you. That source within you is providing you at all times everything that you need. When you decide that you are abundant and you open up to the abundance that's around you, you start to see it reflected back. And one of the biggest ways to shift this is to start adding up the money that is flowing to you. Even if you're experiencing like the worst state of money right now, start to add up, what do you have? What do you have right now? How much money is actually coming this month? What do you have as far as food? This was a big one for me when I started to look at my abundance. So, I mean, a lot of, in America especially, we classify abundance as money, but abundance is everything. Abundance is how you're supported in life. Abundance is being clothed, being in shelter, having food. The majority of the people on the planet don't eat 2 meals a day. That was a huge shift for me, that I am so abundant in my life that I take for granted that I get to eat multiple times a day, that I have fresh drinking water, that I have multiple outfits. It might not be exactly what I want, but I have those things. I have nice things. I live in a nice house. So just starting to change your perception on what do you actually have in your life right now? What are you grateful for? Are you healthy? Are you in a body? Are you here? Are you alive? That says a lot. You're here. You're alive. You're living. You're experiencing this life. So when you continue the perpetuation of I'm not abundant, you're going to continue to see not abundant. You're going to continue to see lack. But when you are willing to say, okay, let me look around and see what I have here. So this is also the same thing when you hear of all these lottery winners winning the lottery and then they're like broke within the next, like within 5 years. They never really got into a state of feeling abundant. So even if you tripled your income, unless you actually work on this belief in knowing that you're abundant and feeling abundant and being grateful for what you already have, you're going to be in the same state. I know people that are 6-figure earners right now that are actually broke because they haven't worked through these money issues of feeling abundant, being grateful for what you have. So let me see here. Number 4 is feeling not worthy or not good enough. And this belief system kind of plays out in all areas of your life, because when you feel like I'm not good enough to have those things, you block everything from coming to you. If you even let something trickle in, so you let money trickle in, you will literally like push it away from you. You will sabotage yourself. You will give it away. You will constantly be in that state of not having enough. If you believe you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you will block relationships and love from yourself. Maybe you'll allow someone in, but you will do something to sabotage the relationship. You will look for faults or just create some kind of dramatic situation so that person will leave your life. A lot of times people that are married multiple times have a theme running of not being worthy. So this also comes from a state of religious background and feeling like we are not worthy. If you grew up in a religious family or situation, you might have been told that like we are condemned in some way. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when, as I've moved through my experience and I've released these things and I realize that divine love is what is within us and that we are worthy to have these things in our lives. We are worthy to be abundant. We are not meant to struggle. We're not meant to be in this state of lack. So as I started to release these belief systems, it's like this entire world opened up for me. And as I started to feel like I was worthy. So in the beginning, like there's a belief within you that's saying you're not worthy. You're not good enough to have these things. Just saying, I'm willing to see that I'm worthy or that I'm good enough opens up just enough that stuff can start to flow. If just by stating that you are willing opens up the door a crack and things can start to flow to you. So the not worthiness, not good enough, a lot of times there's attachment of being punished in some way, that we're being punished. We're not being punished. We are punishing ourselves by believing we're not worthy or not good enough because we are not allowing the things into our life that we want. You know, we're not allowing the money to flow in to support us, or the healthy relationships, or the businesses that we want to experience. So we block ourselves from those things, and then we are actually creating more pain for ourselves. And the last one that is a big one for a lot of people is I am not loved, or I'm unlovable. This one was so deep for me. I had it for so long, and it was just layers upon layers upon layers of believing that I was not loved. So let me just share with you my story around this and how we create these belief systems from as children. So from when we're born to, they say, around 7, we're experiencing our reality. And from what we are living, we create belief systems on what we perceive. So obviously there are people in the world that have had horrible situations, and from that perceived reality, they've created belief systems. Like, if they were in foster care or they were in an abusive situation, they created belief systems around that because they were so young, they perceived that to be themselves. In my situation, I grew up in a normal middle-class family. From all views, we had a good childhood. We had everything we wanted. I mean, there was nothing there to feel like I had a bad childhood. But my parents are both emotionally closed down. Like, they do not know how to communicate. They do not know how to show emotion. They're just blocked. And so, being a sensitive child growing up, I felt like I was not loved because I didn't feel love. I didn't feel my parents openly like sharing love with me or telling me I love you or giving me hugs. To this day, and I'm 35, when my mom hugs me, it feels like we literally just met on the street like 5 minutes earlier. She's just so blocked in her emotional place and blocked in her heart. It took me a long time to realize that it was my connection and how I perceived them and what I was feeling that created the belief that I was not loved. It's not true. It took me a long time to realize that. I did a lot of self-harm because of that belief, because I was looking for something to fill it. I'm like, I want to be loved. So I was, I ran the drug path, and I ran the lots of men path, and I ran this cycle of trying to fill that void of feeling like I was not loved. When I started to uncover what my relationship was to my parents and how I felt and how I perceived myself growing up, it started to become clear that it was not their fault. It's not that they didn't love me. It's that they themselves don't understand how to openly give and receive love. So, with feeling like you're not loved, our divine state of being, when you meditate, when you close your eyes and go quiet, that place within you, that is the divine connection of love. It is within you. You don't have to go out and get it. It is within you. So when we discover that we are actually love and that it comes from within us, we realize that this was a false belief anyway. So it shuts down having to go outside and look for it. You're not running to find a relationship. You're not running to find all these things. It comes from within. And when you start to connect it within and you start to feel love from within and allow it to flow out, your relationships then change. You start to see people in a different light. My relationship with my husband literally changed. And my relationship with my husband prior to this was rocky. We had a lot of ups and downs. We broke up, called wedding off. I mean, it was definitely a challenge. But as I started to change and how I felt about myself, and as I started to release this feeling that I wasn't loved, and I started to hold love within myself and allow it to vibrate out, I started to feel love. I started to see love in other people. It was like what I'd finally been looking for. I'd been chasing it for so long. I was chasing it with people. I was chasing it with experiences. When I finally was able to tune in and find love within me, then I started to experience it on the outside. So I am really happy that I can share this with you. So how do you start to change these beliefs? So I've given you a few ways just throughout this webinar of how to start to shift them. Number one is to be willing to ask yourself, what do I believe? What do I believe about money? What do I believe about abundance? And listen to what comes up. We don't generally listen what's there, because your inner world is constantly talking to you. It's constantly saying something. So when you're in a place where you can get quiet and you have time, pick one subject. If any of these rang true with you, if you felt like a trigger or a pull or like, ooh, maybe I should look at that, just pick that subject. So say it's, I don't feel loved. Ask yourself, what do I believe about not feeling loved? And listen to what's being said. And then listen to what's being said, and it's going to give you some information. And then say, well, why do I believe that? Well, where did that come from? Follow the belief. Just keep following what you're saying. Stay in a state of neutrality. Don't judge what's coming. Just listen to what's coming up and follow the belief. And then eventually, if you follow it long enough and just keep asking yourself in your mind questions, well, what do I believe about that? Well, why do I believe that? Well, where did that come from? Who did that come from? Who originally told me that? What situation transpired for me to actually believe that? It's going to come to a place where you're going to get this aha, and you're going to be like, huh, really? And then you get to decide if you want to continue to believe it. Now, these issues are core issues, and they take a little bit of work. It's not like automatically, boom, just one day you've shifted. There are many belief systems that can happen that way, but with the deep ones, the core ones, the ones that we've been playing with for a long time, the ones that we've been believing for a long time, and reality's created circumstances for us to continue to believe them, then they take a little bit longer. The second thing for you to do is to work with a life coach. If it's not me, someone that you're called to work with. The importance of having a life coach is having someone that can listen to what you're saying and reflect the story back, and someone that's saying, you know, this is just a belief, and let's look at where it came from, and let's release the energetic charge on it so you don't have to be bound to this belief anymore. I am running a program in May that I am actually working on these specific beliefs and other core beliefs. I am working with women who are ready. They're sick of being stuck. They're ready to create the life that they desire, and they know that they need to step into their power. They're ready. So if this feels like something that would be suiting for you, if you feel like you're ready to start to release these core beliefs, contact me through Facebook, This Happy Little Life, or my email address is www.thishappylittlelife@gmail.com, and we can discuss if we're a fit for each other. We can also discuss having a free consultation. So I loved being here and sharing this with you. I think I could just sit and talk about this all day long because I really want to help people. I hope that you got something from this, and I'm being pulled to talk a little bit about a belief system and what a belief system is. And I will actually think about doing an additional webinar on this. So a belief system is something that we perceive in our reality, and we decide that we believe that it's true. Once we decide that we believe that it's true or not true, well, let's say true, supporting evidence comes to build on that belief. So once the evidence comes to build on that belief, then the belief structure itself has its own life. It's You are saying this is true because I have this evidence to prove it. It's just a belief, and the evidence is going to come to prove whatever you believe. So if you believe something not to be true, the evidence is going to show up to prove that it's not true. If you believe something to be true, the evidence is going to come to show you that it's true. Belief systems are self-perpetuating mechanisms. They have to be for us to be in the world that we live in. They have to be for us to continue to believe the things that we believe. They're self-perpetuating. But all belief systems can be changed. It's like whatever you want to believe, if you truly want to believe something different, it can be changed. There is no belief system that cannot be changed. You just have to know that it's a self-perpetuating mechanism, and that it's going to continue to keep you believing in that same thing until you decide that you want to believe something else. So as you're starting to believe something else, the old belief is like continuing to try to get you to believe in it. And you're saying, no, I'm going to believe in this. And when you start putting energy into this new belief system, then new circumstances are going to come to fill in to show you that that is true, that the new thing is true. So I know that's kind of like deep, but I wanted to give you a little bit about how a belief mechanism actually works. So thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Let me know how you feel about this. I love to hear feedback. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye.